think we kind of gone over this.
Mm-hmm.
And so there you go, Steve.
There we go. Okay, let us pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
God and Father, we praise
Father,
you
we
for your
praise you
Son,
for your
Jesus,
Son, Jesus,
who is wisdom
who is
incarnate.
wisdom incarnate.
We thank you for our vocation and mission as Vincentians to serve him and the poor and needy. Grant us your wise and loving spirit today, that we may be enriched in wisdom. May we grow ever more faithful to the Vincentian charism and offer our lives in a spirit of loving service to our neighbors in need. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, and an opening reflection. In the Catholic tradition, wisdom is something that is held in high esteem and even praised. It's more than mere information because it communicates truth, which is saving and sanctifying. By faith, Catholics believe that the highest truth revealed to man about God is that he is love. In uniting ourselves to the love of God revealed in Jesus Christ, we're invited to grow in wisdom about how to best know, love, and serve God. As Vincentians, we do this in a specific way, a charism, or an expression of God's Holy Spirit in the church and world. Today, we open our hearts to the living tradition that has come before us, that we may drink from the stream of its wisdom, learning from its saints, its writings, and its concrete manifestations of charity. We also rejoice that we are members of this tradition too, that we have wisdom and experience to share, wisdom that can benefit other Vincentians and our neighbors, especially those most in need. I think that reflection is beautiful for what we're doing today. We are hopefully taking Vincentians with experience in fundraising and having them share that information to those that might be new to fundraising and might be inspired by some of the words that their fellow Vincentians have and some of the insights that they have. So the first question is, why fundraise? Well, very simply put, conferences need funds to serve neighbors. You might remember that our three essential elements are Vincentian spirituality, Vincentian friendship, and Vincentian service. We're going to talk about all three on this call because fundraising is all three. And certainly the funds that you need to serve your neighbors have to come from someplace. So conferences need funds to serve those neighbors. So sometimes that funding comes from the parish. Now, the parish doesn't have to give you money. We are a separate lay apostolate of the Catholic Church. We do not operate under the umbrella of the pastor or even the archbishop, but we operate with their blessing at both the council level and at the conference level. So the parishes do not have to take up collections for the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, but most of them do that because they recognize the service that we provide to the pastor and to the parish itself. And so oftentimes we have an envelope at the parish, sometimes once a month, sometimes once a quarter, sometimes on the fifth Sunday of the month, or Thanksgiving, or St. Vincent de Paul Sunday, which is coming up on November the 3rd. Those are collections that all go to the Society of St. Vincent de Paul generally. So that's where a lot of the funding comes from for conferences. But conferences should be raising their own money. Twinning helps, but conferences should strive to raise their own funds. Now, some of them have much greater needs than what their fundraising efforts can provide, and that's when twinning comes in, where conferences that have more resources and not as much need, they can twin those resources with conferences that are struggling financially and need that help. So just a little history, the council, St. Louis Council, had a bequest a number of years ago, a multi-million-dollar bequest. And for quite a few years, we had the opportunity to be able to, through the council programs, send a lot of money out to the conferences. And I think that one of the things that happened was conferences kind of got out of the habit of raising funds for themselves because the council was constantly sending money for particular cases, for rent and for utilities and all kinds of things. Now, the council still can and does help conferences, but we don't have the funds that we once had because those funds have been spent. So we're looking, that's one of the reasons why we're doing this wisdom series, is to encourage the conferences to get back to fundraising that they did prior to the time that we had the big bequest that came to us a number of years ago. So you see it says fundraising, F-U-N. Fundraising should be a spiritual event. It should be a fun event. And we believe in the three essential elements: spirituality, friendship, and service. So the spirituality of fundraising, here's a great quote. This is from the Spirituality of Fundraising book, and it says, fundraising is proclaiming what we believe in such a way that we offer other people an opportunity to participate with us in our vision and mission. And I've got a couple of other quotes from that book that I think are really, really good. Are we willing to be converted from our fear of asking, our anxiety about being rejected, or feeling humiliated or depressed when someone says, no, I'm not going to get involved in your project? The spirit of love says, don't be afraid to let go of your need to control your own life. Let me fulfill the true desire in your heart. Fundraising is also always a call for conversion. And this comes to both those who seek funds and those who have funds. Whether we're asking for money or giving money, we are drawn together by God, who is about to do a new thing through our collaboration. We must claim the confidence to go to a wealthy person, knowing that he or she is just as poor and in need of love as we are. Every time we approach people for money, we must be sure that we are inviting them into this vision of fruitfulness and into a vision that is fruitful. And you'll be inspired. Once we are prayerfully committed to placing our whole trust in God and have become clear that we are concerned only for the kingdom, once we have learned to love the rich for who they are rather than what they have, and once we believe that we have something of great value to give them, then we will have no trouble asking for someone to give us a large sum of money. I ask for money standing up, not bowing down, because I believe in what I'm about. I believe I have something important to offer. We do not need to worry about money. Rather, we need to worry about whether through this invitation we offer them, the donor, and the relationship we develop with them, they will grow closer to Christ. And that's what the Society of St. Vincent de Paul is all about, is growing closer to Christ. And fundraising can help us do that. Next slide. So fundraising is knowing we are doing God's work. Our fundraising should be fun. And here are some examples. The Friends of the Poor walk. We're going to talk a little bit about this later on with Joe. The Friends of the Poor walk is a wonderful event. I think we're in our 12th year or 13th year of the Friends of the Poor walk nationally. The Friends of the Poor walk, any conference can participate in a Friends of the Poor walk at their own local parish, or they can tap into maybe the district. Some districts have fundraising as well through the Friends of the Poor walk. So this brings out, you can see, here's a picture. This is St. Joseph in Cottleville. Look at that. They've got several hundred people there. It's just a fantastic opportunity to bring out Vincentians, families, dogs, parishioners, priests, the community, businesses. There's ice cream, there's hot dogs, there's soda, there's prayer. Every walk starts with prayer. Some walks start with Mass. Queen of All Saints starts with a Mass, and they go right out of Mass and do their walk. At Immaculata, they actually have Mass after the walk. And in the Festus district, they do the Stations of the Cross in church and come right out and go into their walk. Next slide. And all kinds of people show up at our walks. There's Fred Bird at the walk at St. Clement. And on the left is Immaculata. They have the walk, they have mass, they have a chicken dinner after mass. And they invite some of their neighbors in need even to come, and some of the conferences that they twin with come out and do the walk as well. It's a wonderful opportunity for community. Next slide. This is the Festus District Walk. What they do is they go around to the neighborhood and they talk to businesses and they talk to people that want to sponsor the walk. You can see some of the signs. There's a thank you from the Society of St. Vincent de Paul to our generous sponsors, this one being AmVets. And they've got businesses all over the Festus area. And then they have people in doing in memory of. You can see that. Thank you from the Society of St. Vincent de Paul in memory of some person that those people want to remember. So they reach out to all kinds of people to be able to participate in the walk financially, and they invite them to come out and walk with us as well. Here's a prayer. I think is that Father Ted? I think that's Father Ted from Immaculate Conception Dardenne at the Northwest District Walk. That's the Northwest District Walk, and there's a couple of their Vincentians getting ready to cook some hot dogs for when the people come back from the walk. Here's Queen of All Saints. Queen of All Saints. All those people wore those T-shirts at Mass. They just came out of Mass, and here they are getting ready to walk. You can see again a couple of hundred people, and they on the right-hand side. They're singing. They had the Pledge of Allegiance, and they're singing a song to open up the walk. You can see they've got families and kids and the scouts, and their pastor is in there someplace. There's Jerry Miller, one of the guys that's been involved in the walk for many, many years. It's a fabulous, fabulous day. And then we've got the North District Golf Tournament, another way to be able to raise money. We're going to talk about this a little bit again. Here's on the left, they start the day with Bloody Marys. It's an 8 o'clock start for the golf tournament, and there's some guys filling up on Bloody Marys and a bunch of guys hanging out, just a bunch of Vincentians, a bunch of friends, a bunch of neighbors, people from the community. Again, businesses participate in the walk or the golf tournament. And by the way, this year's golf tournament is, and I don't want to steal Lynn's thunder because Lynn's going to talk about this in just a little bit, is being named the Marty Bly North District Golf Tournament. Marty Bly started this tournament, I think 11 or 12 years ago. And Marty was a very devoted Vincentian who passed away a few weeks ago from cancer. And the tournament has been renamed in Marty's honor. But it's another great opportunity to have fun, meet fellow Vincentians. Here's a bunch of guys, later on having a cold beer on a warm day, and people, having lunch. It's just a great opportunity for fellowship. We talk about Vincentian spirituality, Vincentian friendship. Here's great opportunities for friendship. And then, of course, the service aspect is they're all raising money to serve their neighbors in need through their individual conferences. So some other ideas. The Society of St. Vincent de Paul, the conference at St. Vincent de Paul Parish has a trivia night. I know there are other conferences that have trivia nights as well, but they have a trivia night at St. Vincent de Paul Parish with food, and everybody brings food and drinks and friends. Parishioners are there. Priests open it with prayer. They have humbling questions and games and prizes. They when I say humbling questions, they actually ask some of the people on the committee to each of them take a section and do 10 questions. So the questions come from all over the place, and they have a ball doing that. And then we also have we have had in past years a fashion show. This was at St. Gotthard in Valley Park. And I know another conference did this as well. And the fashion show features clothing from the Society of St. Vincent de Paul thrift store. Then they bring out all the parishioners and Vincentians and the pastor. They have great fellowship and fun and laughter and families. And People say those clothes came from our thrift stores, and it encourages people to get more involved in our thrift stores, to go to our thrift stores, because there's some great opportunities to find bargains in our thrift stores. So there's another way to be able to create Vincentian spirituality, Vincentian friendship, and Vincentian service. And then we also have, and I think the next slide, the selling pound cakes. St. Anne Conference at St. Anne Parish, they have partnered with a baker that makes pound cakes, delicious pound cakes, all kinds of different flavors of pound cakes, and they sell them after Mass, and they make a couple of $1,000s for their conference. So they got creative, which is what we're asking you to do. Is these are just some opportunities for fundraising, but some opportunities that you might think of something. Ooh, what if we did this, or what if we did that? Because there's so many different ways to be able to raise money, and you might think of something that nobody else has thought of. And matter of fact, when we get to the question and answer period, if we've missed somebody that has done a fundraising effort at one of your conferences and we didn't talk about it, let us know. We would love to know. Next slide. Be creative. Who would have ever thought selling pound cake could serve the poor? That's being creative. That's what this is all about, is being creative. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce Lynn Segura from St. Ferdinand Parish up in Florissant, and Joe Hogan, who is the president of Queen of All Saints down in Oakville. Lynn is going to talk about the golf tournament and how they have fun raising funds for the North District. Lynn? She's on here someplace, I know it. Lynn, if you're speaking, you're muted. Oh, did we lose Lynn? I don't see her on here. She might have gotten kicked off. That happens occasions. Joe, do you mind going ahead and talk about the walk?
No, I'll be glad to,
see if we can
Steve.
get Lynn back on here. Okay, go ahead, Joe.
Okay, this is our 11th year for doing the walk. In just a little bit of history, when we first started, we had about 30 people that came to the walk, and we raised a couple $100. Then the next year it grew a little bit more. We made maybe $1,000. In the third year, we decided to get our own t-shirts. Then we thought, well, gee, maybe we can find some sponsors for these t-shirts. And we had about 6 businesses that stepped up and sponsored our walk. And in each consecutive year, we tried to add something to the walk to make it a little more fun, a little more exciting for everyone. And just to give you an example, last year, we grew our sponsorship for the t-shirts. We had 26 sponsors. We sold over 300 t-shirts, and we had 225 people walking, and we raised $38,000. So just remember, you can repeat this process. It's easy. You just have to start slow and then grow our sponsors, and try and find new ones. And we have 3 sponsorship levels: $250, $500, and $1,000. Every weekend in September, we set up outside all the masses, and we sell t-shirts. They're $10 for adults and $5 for children. And every Sunday in the bulletin during the month of September, we have something in there. Before our walk, we do pulpit talks at every Mass, and we just share some of the stories about our neighbors and how the parishioners are helping those people. And that people really connect to that. We do signage around the campus, the church campus, similar to what you've seen in the slides there, where we say St. Vincent de Paul, walk for the poor. And we'll put sayings on there like, you have, go ahead, Steve.
Steve, you're on mute. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to get a hold of Lynn Segura.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. We have signage around the campus and they'll say things like St. Vincent de Paul Society. You may have fed someone you've never met. Or it may say, you helped me prevent eviction, or you prevented my electric from being turned off. So we just post those all around the campus. And some of the things we do grilling after the walk. First we go to mass, then we come out. We have our scouts there that have the flag, and we do a honor guard. Then we have the children's choir. They sing "God Bless America" before we start the walk, and then we have a prayer. We walk about a mile, maybe a mile and a half, and then when we come back, the Vincentians have been barbecuing hamburgers and hot dogs, and we serve those to all the walkers. We also have a cone ice truck that comes, and they give snow cones and ice things out to everyone that participates in the walk. But each year we try to add something a little different to keep it fresh and add more people. And again, this is an easy process to duplicate. You just start small, and then each year try to grow that process, try to expand a little. We first reached out to some of our parishioners about that we knew owned businesses. Well, then our own Vincentians started reaching out to their insurance agent, to their dentist, and you'd be surprised how many of those people have responded. So that's it.
That's great, Joe. And you know, the wonderful thing about that is you're not satisfied with just doing it over the same way every time. You try to create new ways to be able to reach people. I love the fact that you got signs around there that say, you know, you prevented me from being evicted. You helped me from, you know, with my electricity or whatever. That's fantastic. That's a reminder to all those families. And you think about those young people that are coming out there. We saw the picture of all those youngsters that were out there in your youth choir that's out there. And you know, the message that you're sending them is care for your neighbors. It's just it's beautiful. And $38,000. That's fantastic. And every penny of that stays right there in the conference, right?
Winning as much as we can, but all of it stays in the conference.
Yeah. That's fantastic, Joe. Thank you so much. I was out there walked this past September, and it was an absolutely gorgeous day, wasn't it, Joe? It was an absolutely beautiful day. And Father led off the walk he was in a golf cart, and led off the walk with a golf cart and went the entire route and they went all through the neighborhoods surrounding the parish. That's also a great witness, isn't it, Joe? A great witness to the neighborhood of the society.
It is. And we walked around several of the neighbors out on their porches waving to us, and
yeah,
thank you.
Oh, isn't that great?
So it was great.
It's a great witness. It's a great witness to our faith. It's a great witness to the parish, to the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, and to the community that you impacted. So, and all those businesses that you approached that keep coming back year after year to sponsor, that's fantastic. Joe, thank you very much. Lynn, how are you?
Hello, Steve. I'm fine at the moment.
Good. You got kicked off, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the connection. I'm using my hotspot on my phone because I'm at work.
God bless you. Thank you.
Let me in for a few minutes, but I'm back. I'm good.
Great. And Lynn is going to talk about the North District the Marty Bly North District Golf Tournament.
Yes, it's a wonderful event that we have. We've had every year for 11 years now, -1 for COVID. But I know I missed a little bit of the Joe's talk, so I'm sorry I missed some of that. But I can say that we did the Walk for the Poor for a number of years in North District, and it was wonderful. We held it at SLU's campus, St. Louis U High's campus, for a few years, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm very impressed with the pictures that you pulled together, Steve. A lot of great ideas there.
Aren't there?
Yeah. So the golf tournament is another wonderful thing that got started up. Marty Bly, who was the president of North District for a while for our district, and he was president of Holy Name of Jesus Parish for a while. And Annette, also his wife, very active. And Marty decided one year that he said, we want to have an emergency fund out there. They called it an emergency fund for North District. And we want to be able to support a truck. I don't know if the truck came first for North District or the golf tournament, or if they were impacted, they connected it all. But they were looking for ways to help the whole area. And they started this golf tournament with some good friends that golfed. Quite a number of people were involved for a number of years, a good core group. And to this day, some of the same golfers are still golfing, including Steve. I don't know how many years you've golfed with it.
Every year.
Every year, great. So you have a lot more stories than me, because I got involved back in 2019, the year before COVID. And what a great team. We would meet at a restaurant and have meetings and just talk about everything. And it was a very social group, always starting with a prayer and have a meeting to discuss the plans. And I was working as the treasurer, so I was not as involved in the tournament because I'm not a golfer. So I've learned a lot the last 5 years. And I don't know how many of you have been golfers, but it's a whole nother language and it's a lot of fun. So I've learned a lot and met a lot of wonderful people and seen a lot of people I've known at it. And that's what it's about. It's like we're talking about fundraiser. This is what it's something you can do to bring people in that may not know much about St. Vincent de Paul to learn about what we do and share it with others and invite businesses to participate through sponsorships. And we've always done multiple levels, 100, 250, or 500 sponsorships. And Steve, the signs that you showed for the Walk for the Poor, they have signs all over the golf course for sponsors at different levels, and put big stars on them when they have more sponsorship money. And I'd like to put a shout out to Ann Yeager. Their conference has been a wonderful sponsor of the tournament at least the last few years. After COVID, we started thinking, let's reach out to the other conferences. And you may have noticed in a lot of the newsletters for council that we have invited other conferences to sponsor for this tournament. And 100% of that money does go to North District funds. So now we just, and this year I did a couple of number crunchings. We're still working on the tournament for this year, hopping around a little bit. We have 20 conferences throughout the council who have sent in a sponsorship this year, and a total of 57 sponsors so far.
Wow.
For the tournament. It's just the combination of many people putting in a little effort to get a sponsor or two or 4 or 5, and different parishes, organizations wanting to sponsor, maybe a ladies club, maybe a quilting club, or maybe the men's club, or just the parish in general, and a lot of businesses. But just for those who are not golfers, I'm going to kind of go through the day just to show you how much fun we have. It's a really good group of people that puts this on, the same people for years, and we've kind of had a turnover a little bit the last few years. We had Marty and Annette, and Marty did a whole lot of work the first number of years, and he passed the baton to others throughout the years and kept the program going. Mary and Pat Bettis Moore, I guess, was the coordinator for a few years. And now we have Jean Meyer as the coordinator the last couple of years. And the day would start, first of all, of course, you'd have the check-in, you'd have like an hour to an hour and a half prior to the tournament. And yes, we have breakfast and we have drinks. And as Steve knows, and anybody else who's attended this tournament and other tournaments, there are drinks, and there's Bloody Marys and screwdrivers, and these Bloody Marys are big old cups. And they have the celery and all of the fixings. Last year they had a ball putting those together, and they're very festive drinks and kind of healthy. You got the tomato juice in there,
Yeah.
and or the screwdrivers with the orange juice. And then before the whole tournament starts, we have announcements. They have a 50-50 drawing, so that's another opportunity for anybody attending to help with the fundraising. Really, the fee that the golfers pay, some of that money is profit that's used to support North District, and the rest of it is to support the tournament. And then all of the sponsors, all of that money goes towards North District. So we've really tried to work it out where we explain to the golfers, this percentage of your golfing fee is tax deductible. And we don't charge overly amounts of money, so we encourage the golfers to come. And then we had the 50-50 drawing. And we also have a opportunity for paying a little extra for a hole advantage on the third hole. That's another bit of a fundraiser that we do. In the past, we had baskets and auction items, other opportunities for the golfers to win something. But that was about the year that I came on, and they were saying that, and all the conferences in North District would donate a basket or something to the tournament. So it got all of us involved throughout the district. And it's great. But the problem was that there was only that hour to 2 hours or hour and a half before the tournament for them to really take a chance. And they weren't really investing as much as the baskets actually were worth. So they decided to take a step back from those as a fundraiser portion. And people can do that. Like our parish does a fundraiser, a music trivia every year, and the profits go to our St. Vincent de Paul conference, and they have baskets there. So our conference has the opportunity to still make baskets for something else. So it's a great way to raise funds. But yeah, so this tournament starts with a prayer. We have at least a couple of priests every year who are golfing in the event. Or maybe Steve Rupp sometimes has helped with the leading the prayer. And we're off. And it starts at 9 a.m. It goes through the day, and they have carts running around with refreshments, beer, soda, and water. And they have hot dogs served in the middle of the day. And the staff the volunteers are there throughout the day, helping, socializing, making sure everybody's comfortable, answering any questions, visiting. And it's a great camaraderie amongst all of us Vincentians. And more and more are coming. This year we have a bumper crop of people that are coming to volunteer. It's really a lot of fun. We're encouraging just to hang out, if nothing else. And Man Meats, if anybody knows who Man Meats is, it's a wonderful restaurant that's family owned in North County that is just delicious food. And they supply the meal at the end of the tournament for all of the players. So we wine and dine them, and we give them a goodie bag of all kinds of snacks throughout the day too. So we just have fun. We make it fun for the golfers, a little bit, maybe from what I understand, a little better than some other tournaments, just to make it enjoyable. And we always have a prize or a giveaway every year. This year we're giving golf balls with the St. Vincent de Paul logo on them. Last year we had golf towels. So here's the golf towel from last year. And so they try to do something every year with a logo of St. Vincent de Paul on it to help advertise what St. Vincent de Paul is and help them to be curious to learn more about St. Vincent de Paul and maybe join or maybe donate more. So I don't know how much time I've used.
No, that's great. That's beautiful, perfect. And you talked about me having some personal stories. The first couple of years, my wife Debbie and Annette Bly drove one of the beer carts, and the second year we had to take them off the beer carts because they were wild drivers. They were almost killing people. It was unbelievable. Asking that when we go out there, because the tournament's in about a week and a half.
Is that why they have the staff there at the clubhouse driving the carts?
Yes, because Vincentians drive, the Vincentian women, especially my wife and Annette, drove like they were banshees. But they had an awful lot of fun, an awful lot. You could hear them laughing halfway across the course. So it's a wonderful fun day, wonderful fun day. So thank you, Lynn. It's a great opportunity for fellowship, for friendship, for spirituality. Monsignor Ulrich always plays in the tournament and leads us in prayer. And it's just a wonderful day, and certainly the opportunity to raise funds as well. And you did that. You did the fundraising part of it. So thank you so much for that. You know, I see Mel Hussman on here. Mel is the man. We didn't ask you to say anything, Mel, but if you'd like to say a little bit about the bread that you sell, the pound cake that you sell, you want to tell us just a little bit about that? You're on mute. There you go. There you go.
I'm on mute. I was having trouble getting onto the program here today. I've never had that much trouble with
Oh,
Zoom.
sorry.
But anyway, it sounds like you got a good program going, and I appreciate it. We have fun doing selling these cakes, and it kind of started because the bakery was in Ferguson originally, and a lot of the parishioners would go down there and have a coffee and enjoy the cake, and then at the turmoil of Ferguson, they really lost a lot of business, and they decided they were going to move out to Newtown in St. Charles, and they've done well with the population out there as well. But I kept connection with them, and they agreed to make cakes for us. And it's a simple process. That's what I like about it. It's kind of the same concept of the Girl Scouts selling cookies. I mean, you're getting something for the dollar you're putting out there, and it's enjoyable, but it's not real expensive, and it's at the same time makes us good money. We buy the cakes for $3.50 and we sell them for $7. And it overall it takes about 4 or 5 people to run this, and a total of, I guess, maybe 3 hours each person to put it together. So it's relatively simple. And like I said, it gets you at the table meeting people coming in and out of church also. So you're meeting new people, and they have a chance to talk to you and find out what's going on with St. Vincent de Paul also. So
That's great.
it's a good little program for us.
Yeah, and very creative,
Steve.
and born out of a wonderful idea to be able to help a small business that was hurting.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We reach out to people that are hurting. You reached out to a business that was hurting, and you help them, and they're helping the poor. That's just a wonderful, wonderful thing.
It was a
Thank
win-win. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, Mel, thank you so much. That's great. Is there anybody else that's on the call that maybe has done a fundraiser that we don't know about that you want to talk about for a moment?
I would talk about our Christmas bazaar for a minute.
Yeah,
you're
sure. Go
okay.
ahead, Ann.
I've told Tom about this too. It's unbelievable. So what we do is we have a Christmas bazaar, and we have everybody who wants to bring their old decorations, they drop them off on Friday night. And I mean, it's unbelievable how much stuff comes in, and we sell the junk back out to other people on Saturday. It's all an at-will donation. And in one weekend, we make like
Holy
$15,000.
smokes.
And people, it's nuts. People love it. It's like a whole subculture. It's like I'm bringing my junk. And then the funniest part is we see people who are bringing their junk on Friday night shopping for other people's junk on Saturday. And it's just, I mean, it's fast, it's good, it's fun. We have a lot of people come. The parish looks forward to it. The one really neat thing was someone from Assumption Parish out here in the Northwest was there towards the end of it. And we're at the end of it, we still have a lot of stuff. As you can imagine, we usually make about 6 trips to 6 different Goodwills with the stuff. But they were talking about coming and picking up our stuff that was left and having one the following weekend. And that really would be
wow.
a win-win too. So
Yeah.
it's easy, it's fast. It costs us about $90 in storage from mid-October through the first weekend of December. And we get it, we store it, and then people drop other stuff off that Friday night, and then it's done and over.
Wow.
But it's a fun thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Ann. Thank you. Thank you. It's another creative idea. Jackie, did you have something? I saw you waving. Oh, you're on mute. Oop, you're still on mute. You need to click. Can you click your mute button on the bottom left? Oops, I think she clicked herself off. Well,
her
do we have
video's off.
anybody else that has any other fundraising efforts that they've done? Why don't we then go ahead and turn it over to questions? If you want to unmute yourself, if you have a question, you can ask Joe, you can ask Ann, you can ask Lynn, you can ask Mel. Any questions about fundraising that you might have?
I don't know. No, I'm sorry, Joe.
Hey, Joe, what parish are you from again?
But I'm on mute.
Saint of All Saints in Oakville.
Okay, how'd it go? Fine. Did you get what you needed? Yeah. What?
Hey, Peggy,
I'm sorry. Yes?
yeah, did you have a question?
No, I didn't. Am I
Oh,
not
okay.
on mute? I thought I was
No,
on.
you're not.
I'm sorry.
That's
Oops.
okay.
Jackie, did you have something? No, okay.
Oh, I would ask Joe if nobody has a question. We might reach out to you. We just started with sponsorships a couple of years ago and maybe pick your brain on your letter to your sponsors, or I really like whoever had the in memory of signs.
Yeah.
That was really a clever
It was
idea where people
Festus,
would,
the
you know,
Festus district.
Festus. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that a
Yeah.
clever idea?
Yeah, very.
And it's
Yeah.
it's an honor for them to be able to honor their loved ones with a sign in memory of them. Yeah, that was a great idea. And I know that I had spoken with Joe and Jerry Miller, who chaired the walk down there for many years, and they just said that we went to every Joe, you correct me if I'm wrong, went to every business in Oakville, and to the gas station and the hardware store and the clothing store, and just knocked on the door and said, hey, we're helping our neighbors in need. Some of them are your customers, and if you would like to help us, we'd love you to be able to be a part of it. And that's a very simple approach, knowing that this is neighbors serving neighbors, and those neighbors are shopping in those stores, and that inspires people to be to participate, which I think is a wonderful idea. Any
Hey,
other
Steve?
thoughts? Yeah, Mike, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Steve. When I headed up years ago, our Apostolic Works group, I was working on a parish talent show, and we were moving along pretty well. And then my business just got too busy, and I wasn't able to, keep the leadership going, and so it never got pulled up. But I was just wondering if any other councils have done anything like that.
I'm not aware of a talent show.
I know that Sacred Heart in Florissant, my home parish, has had talent shows several different times over the years, but it wasn't necessarily a fundraiser for the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. But that's a great idea, because that was a really, really popular event, the talent show. And matter of fact, we just merged with Blessed Teresa of Calcutta and St. Rose Philippine Duchesne. St. Rose Philippine Duchesne just had a talent show just a couple of weeks ago, and now they've got three parishes full of people that went out to it, and a ton of fun. A great. So, Mike, that's another good creative idea.
Nationally, I've seen wine tastings and whiskey tastings. Now, not all of our conferences may be more like a Budweiser tasting for some conferences, but you might be able to do something like that. Then also meals, like Vincentians will make a meal for, or host a meal with the help of the men's club or the Knights or something like that. That's done. Sometimes they have dinner auctions and the like, but those are big one-time events, and they do require a lot of work.
At Christmas time, we have an envelope that we put out that's different than all the other envelopes. We have we made it. It's pretty. It's got holly berries on it and the SVDP on it, and then we kind of have little check boxes of where the money goes, like to auto or rent or utilities, and then we have gift cards on there for Schnucks or for Aldi or for Walmart, and we used to pass them out on the exit tables, and in a couple of weekends that brings in like $15,000.
Wow, that's a great idea.
What we were finding, yeah, and what we were finding is, we used to we still have adopt a family or assign specific families, but then we used to have just general contributions, and we, because we're a large parish, ended up with so much stuff that we ended up taking some of it back to Goodwill and all these places too. And our Vincentians were a little less than happy with that as far as the meaning of Christmas, et cetera, and we had all this stuff for people. But on January 1st, we were getting phone calls that they couldn't pay their gas bill. And so we completely revamped our Christmas. We still adopt out probably 40 families maybe, but then we pass these envelopes out and collect cash donations and gift cards that we use then to provide, the rent, the utilities, and some extra things throughout the year. And it's been very well received. I think very well received. So
Yeah, great, great. Do you have one of those you might be able to send to me?
Yeah.
One of the, would you mind doing that? We
sure.
might feature that in our Society Scoop newsletter.
Okay, very good.
Steve, could I offer?
Yeah, sure, Mel, go ahead.
Uh, I thought this was an interesting concept. This is like a organization helping another organization, but there's an organization that helps bring Afghanistan families into the St. Louis area. And as part of their promotion, they teach the women of the families to prepare meals, and then they offer those meals out as catered dinners. And Kirkwood, St. Peter's Parish, is having one this Saturday, I believe, a Saturday night. I think these ladies charge $23 a person or something like that. St. Peter's is charging $40, and it's going to some fund within their parish.
Hmm,
I mean, it doesn't have to be that organization, but I thought that was kind of a
sure.
neat idea. You're
Yeah,
helping
yeah.
two organizations at the same time.
Right. Kind of like you did with the bread company.
Well, a little bit even grander
Yeah.
scale, but yes.
Yeah. That's great. That's very creative. Anybody else have any other, maybe not questions, but thoughts on any of the fundraising ideas that they might have or have seen in their parishes or in the communities?
Hey, Steve.
Yes.
Yeah, we just started our fundraising group since we're just getting off the ground at St.
Right.
Elizabeth Seton. But one of the guys came up with the idea, since we already have a big golf tournament and we're just trying to get some quick wins. So what we're coming up with is a miniature golf tournament. And so that the idea there is to start bringing in, the younger people and the kids. So we're starting off at Cave Springs Golf with 18 foursomes, and then we'll do something, afterwards when they get back. But maybe it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's just kind of something just to get a quick win and just
Yeah.
get some publicity out there.
Good for you. That's great. That is great. Again, very creative. And getting the kids involved is always a good idea. That's why, the Friends of the Poor walk, you see lots of kids out there. And those are our Vincentians in the next generation. So we want to expose them to what you Vincentians do every day. It's a good thing for them to see. That's great, Mike. Thank you.
I've got another idea for a very simple fundraiser,
Mhm.
or make you more visible in the parish. We would have something to auction off after masses. So we would coordinate it with the pastor and we'd be out there after every mass. And what we did for a few years, we would have two things. One would be a St. Louis Cardinals or a St. Louis Blues wreath that a lot of people would be interested in that, and then
Mhm.
have some kind of religious item. So they could
Mhm.
put in a chance for one or the other. And it was a very simple fundraiser opportunity to have flyers out, information out about St. Vincent de Paul after masses, and a very simple drawing after a few weeks of having them after masses. And just something simple if you're looking for just, collect a few $100s, or maybe up to $1,000 possibly for a fundraiser.
Yeah. And sometimes the money is kind of the icing on the cake. It's the exposure of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul to the conference, or to the parish and the community. And that's vital to be able to let people know that what Vincentians do. And then you do collect some funds as well, which is again, that's icing on the cake. So thank you. That's another good idea.
If you're not working with your school, if you have a school, make sure you're working with your school. We get a lot of money from a penny war in the spring, and it comes in more than pennies. And we give like a donut holes to the class that brings in the most funds. And then in the fall, the week of the walk, in conjunction with our walk, do a dress down. So in $2, you get to dress out a uniform. And depending on, your school, you can raise a lot of funds that way, but probably even more important to the school children and to the parents there as well. You know, be in contact with the other ministries at your parish. The Athletic Association does a lot for us. The Knights of Columbus, the Ladies Auxiliary, the youth group. In July, we will serve the family meal at a youth group event. And we're there in our blue shirts. And then everybody just, oh yeah, the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. You really have to, it's really about marketing yourself, for lack of a better term, and getting
Sure.
out in front of your parish so that there's an awareness there.
Yeah.
But be sure to use your school kids.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And Ann, you mentioned like the Ladies Guild, letting the other organizations within the parish know about the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, and that we're always, helping people and needing funds to be able to do that. I think of Seven Holy Founders. Seven Holy Founders. I just saw a picture in our newsletter, this last newsletter, I think it was last newsletter, that they got a check from their Ladies Guild who had a fundraiser and gave the funds, because the Ladies Guild, what are they going to do with the money? They donated the money to the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, several $1,000s. And
Right.
the society didn't have to do anything other than make that connection.
Right. Many of the, the men's club, the ladies auxiliary, the Knights of Columbus, and they're looking to give money to different charities. You just have to make the connection. And what we found is everybody is looking for a way to be a part of a charitable effort. And we kind of are that conduit to help them. They'll be calling, they'll say, hey, what can we do to help the society once you get that going? It's awesome.
Right. And it's helped the society financially, but it's even more than that. And we talked at the very beginning about the spirituality of fundraising. It's helping them help you grow closer to Christ, which helps them grow closer to Christ. And if we can stay focused on that with as we are soliciting donations, that this is an opportunity for them to grow closer to Christ and enable us to grow closer to Christ, that really frames it in the right way, in the Vincentian way. So that's great. Thank you, Ann. Any last thoughts before we close with a prayer?
Just a quick question, if I might. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good.
Who's this?
Yeah, this I'm the unidentified driver. This is Steve Naird from Christ Prince of Peace.
Oh, how you doing?
Hi. Hey, I really enjoyed this. A number of years ago, the Archdiocese did a very strategic program on stewardship, and I think it typically rolled out in the September timeframe. I don't know if they're still doing that or not. That's the first question. But then secondly, if so, has any of the St. Vincent de Paul discussion been embedded in any of that? I know it has to be separate from the Archdiocese, but has that ever been brought up as an opportunity to get the message out in front of the parishioners?
Not that I know of, Steve. Not that I know of.
Okay.
Now, individual parishes have their stewardship Sundays and things such as that. And of course, the Society of St. Vincent de Paul participates in that, but not at the Archdiocesan level that I'm aware of. But that's a good idea. I'll have to look into whether they're still doing that.
Yeah, I've not seen anything on it, but there were very well developed programs that were run 5, 6, 7 years ago, but it's gone quiet from my eyes.
Well, and it may have been because of COVID and all things new. Those were some things that kind of knocked us back a little bit. So they may have put those things on hold. I don't know, but I wasn't familiar with them. But if they do, let's keep our eyes out, and if somebody sees that, let me know, and we'd be more than happy to explore it with the Archdiocese. Thanks, Steve. Any other last thoughts?
I would like to just say how much I appreciate all these ideas. We do the concert for Bob Barnage at Immaculata. And as the teams that have been working on this, we're finding that we're aging out, to be perfectly honest.
Sure.
And these, working with the school, working with different organizations, are fabulous ideas. And the way that you all work with those schools, it's a great idea. That's where we're going with it.
Great. Thank you. And
It's
you
those
look
kids.
young. You're not aging out. Everybody else is aging out. You look young.
Now it's hard to get younger, 40s, 50s.
Sure.
Because they do have other things to do, their families. And
Mhm.
once those kids get out of school, we would like to grab them, but I don't think we need to wait that long. Myself and others that came in about the same time I did, we didn't know quite what the St. Vincent de Paul Society did. And
Sure.
we jumped in with both feet, and it was a wonderful
Oh, great.
invitation from them. So thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, Tom, why don't we're right on the money on time wise. So thank you all for participating. And as yeah, one quick thing.
Yep.
Some upcoming events. We've got a home visit workshop at St. Peter and Kirkwood coming up tomorrow night, as a matter of fact, from 6:30 to 9. And you can go on our website and register if you'd like to. I know it's short notice. And we have an Ozanam orientation at Holy Infant in Baldwin on Saturday, this coming Saturday, June 8th, from 9 o'clock until 2. And then another Ozanam orientation at Immaculate Conception in Union the following Saturday on June 15th. And then the Know Your Resources Zoom will be on disability assistance. A lot of people ask, how do we help people get disability? And what do they have to do? And how do they qualify? And who do they call? And those are all questions that'll be answered on Monday, June 17th from 6 to 7 p.m. And again, you can go on our website and find this information and register for any one of these. All righty. And our closing reflection about wisdom. Resplendent and unfading is wisdom, and she is readily perceived by those who love her and found by those who seek her. Therefore I prayed, and prudence was given me. I pleaded, and the spirit of wisdom came to me. For she is an unfailing treasure. Those who gain this treasure win the friendship of God, being commended by the gifts that come from her discipline. For she is a breath of the might of God and a pure emanation of the glory of the Almighty. And she leads into the understanding of God and chooses his works. That is what Vincentians do. That is exactly what you do. You go into people's homes and you bring Christ. You are the face of Christ, and we all pray that we see the face of Christ. And I saw 20 some odd faces of Christ on this call. And thank you for being here. Thank you for uplifting me and each other and sharing your wonderful ideas. And if you have any Vincentians that you thought might need to hear this, we'll be posting this on our website here shortly. Okay, so thank you all. God bless you. Have a great day.
God bless
Thanks,
everybody.
Steve. Great program.
Thank you.